Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Bufkin over here. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the Shield Archives event that has started a couple days ago, and I'm going to be going over the premium tier 2 selector that you get and going over each and every single one of these options and giving you guys my opinion on who you should pick and how you should make the decision. But yeah, basically this event, you have to farm these archive collectibles, and once you have all of these collected, you unlock the tier 2 selector. So yeah, for the Dazzler's Mic, you farm Dimension Mission. The best stage I would suggest farming is 6, because for the lowest amount of energy, you can farm this and get your mics. If you move up, you have to pay double the energy. So in my opinion, 6 is the way to go. So yeah, for example, as you guys can see for yourselves, I did one clear and I was lucky enough to get one of the mics. And then the other thing that you get from here are the candles. Now, I already completed my candle objective. For that, I ended up doing dispatch 12-3. Be sure to use your energy. This is the exact same team I've been using to clear this, and it has been working very well for me. You do have to grind a lot. I would say approximately 200 runs for me to complete that, and it could take you more, it could take you less. I think higher stages have better drop rate, but I'm not sure. That's my just assumption. I have a stigma around it. So yeah, I personally prefer farming the highest possible stage. Plus, like, the rewards are always better at higher stages, so why not, But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get straight into the tier list with all the characters in them and see how I end up ranking them. So yeah, this is what the tier list looks like. You can see there's 6 tiers in front of you, starting off with Chef's Kiss. This is where I'm gonna put all the best characters or selections from this selector, in my opinion again. So yeah, this is the first tier, and then moving forward we have the good tier, slightly worse value than the Chef's Kiss tier characters, but will still offer very good value overall. After that, we have the Epic Quest tier. Now, these are characters who can be farmed as ally shifters. And then right after that, we have the mid tier. Here are characters who offer some value to your account. Not that significant or standalone, these characters aren't that strong. And then finally, we have the bad tier. Here, I'm going to end up putting a lot of these selections from this selector. The main reason being they don't offer any value or usable value to your account. So most of the trash characters are going to end up there. And then at the absolute end, we have this troll tier, which in my opinion is going to consist of all the characters that I feel like are a troll being added to this selector. These characters come around for free. You can pick up their bios from selectors, craft them. It just is a troll for them to add these characters to this selector. Yeah, without further ado, let's get started with our first pick. Kick things off, we have Angel, the first addition to the troll tier. You can literally farm him for absolutely free. Do not pick him from the selector. I caution you again. And on top of that, he also is a seasonal crystal cost character, so yeah, you won't even get his best uniform even if you do pick him up for some absolutely random reason. After that, we have Arrow. She does have a very marginal value in dispatch, being one of the characters that you need clear dispatch, but still she does not offer that much value to your account. That's why I'm gonna pick her as the first character in the bad tier. Then we have Ares, the first addition to the Epic Quest tier. Again, he is farmable as the ally shifter in the Sentry Epic Quest. Even though he is really good, I wouldn't necessarily pick him from here. I'd probably just unlock him and use tickets on him. But again, it's up to you. If you want to fast track your progress in the Sentry Epic Quest, you can definitely pick him up from here. There is also that option. Then we have another character in the similar tier. We have Athena. She's one of the better supports, but she doesn't need a tier 2 for all her support buffs to apply to your characters. So you can get away with having her at 6 stars. Then we have Baron Zemo, another addition to the bad tier. I just don't think he offers enough value for me to put him any higher. Then we have Beast, another addition to the troll tier. I mean, you can literally farm his bios, like 10 times a day? Or 10 bios per day. And he is a decent PvP support, but definitely not worth picking from this selector. You can also pick up his bios when you get selectors, and of course, craft his bios is always an option. Similarly, we have Bishop, another troll option. I mean, he is not good standalone as it stands, and on top of that, if you pick him from this selector, you're wasting so much value, it's actually absurd. And then we have our first addition to the good tier, in my opinion, with Black Knight. He is one of the better PvP supports with reflect reduction and HP buff. So yeah, he easily ends up in the good tier. I wouldn't necessarily put him in the chef's kiss again, but it depends on your priorities. All the characters in the good, you could make a case for and pick up and not really miss out on much. Then we have Carnage. I feel like he has lost a lot of his value recently, or like, you know, he has gotten weaker as the power curve has moved up, but still he's a decent character. He does need his artifact, however, for him to be good in PvP. But yeah, he's still a decent character, so I'm going to leave him towards the top end of the good tier. Then we have Cassandra Nova. I feel like she is a mid-tier character because standalone, she actually holds a decent value in Alliance Conquest. It's like she's like the absolute bottom tier, non-tier 4 PvP character who holds decent value in PvP game modes. And then we have Cassie Lang. I mean, you get her for free at like what, 1 star from the legendary battle. So you could technically use a ticket or a couple tickets on her to get her to tier 2 manually if you do want to build her. I personally wouldn't pick her from this selector. Then we have Clea for the Epic Quest. You can unlock her from the Doctor Strange Epic Quest for completely free. If you are very desperate to level her up, you can use a ticket on her. Now, personally, I wouldn't pick her from this selector, but again, depending on your priorities and what you are working on, you could argue a case for her. Similarly, we have Colossus, another addition to the Epic Quest tier. He is absolutely insane. If you did pick him from here, I wouldn't really be mad at you because the uniform discount is going on right now and you could pick up his uniform. With him at tier 2, you could utilize his passive, that is damage reduction against villains and heroes, fully. So yeah, he is one of the better selections from this selector. But again, like I said, depending on your priority and how you want to pace yourself, you could also, you know, get away with not picking him and also get away with picking him from this selector. Then we have another addition to the good tier, Crescent. The only reason why she is in the good tier is because she is meta for 1 Alliance battle restriction. However, since she is a paywall seasonal, I'm going to rank her towards the bottom half of this tier. And right after that, we have Cyclops, another troll tier character. Literally can farm him for free from the Wolverine Epic Quest. He is in the same category as Beast. You can pick up his bios from several different places. Then we have Dakin. I think he is more premium than the 4 characters that we have in the list troll tier. You can farm his bios for absolutely free 10 times a day. In my opinion, definitely not worth picking from this selector. It might take you a little while, but you could definitely make it happen. You can complete the objective where you need to upgrade him to what, 5 star or 6 star, whichever one is needed for Sentry Epic Quest to be completed. Then we have Dazzler, one of the better picks from this selector in my opinion. Actually, the first addition to the Chef's Kiss tier. Her buffs are like insane. I think it's like 70% ignore dodge and 65% damage to bosses. He's one of the best PvE supports in the game, hands down. And she doesn't really have any other way you can technically farm her apart from Dimension Mission. I think most of these characters are farmable through Dimension Mission, but I'm taking that whole, you know, way of farming out of the conversation when we are talking about these characters. So yeah, I'm gonna put her as the first addition to the Chef's Kiss tier. Right after that, we have Domino, another addition to the troll tier. Similar reason to other characters here, she is completely free to farm. And then we have Echo, in my opinion, a mid-tier character. She is a decent support for speed type characters. She's also scalable up to tier 4, but necessarily doesn't offer that much value and has alternatives when there are no, like, you know, strict restrictions in play. So in my opinion, she's gonna be towards the top half of the mid tier. Then we have Electro, another addition to the bad tier, does not offer good enough value for me to suggest you to pick him from this selector. Right after Electro, we have Enchantress. In addition to the good tier, she offers decent value as a support, which is why I feel like you could definitely pick her up, utilize that uniform, and she will give you very good value overall. But you do need to pick up the uniform though, so keep that in mind if you do proceed with picking her. Then we have Phantom X, similar category as Domino, not much to explain there. And then we have Exodus. Now he is a decent mutant support, especially with his artifact, but yeah, he is again farmable as a ally shifter. I wouldn't necessarily prioritize him from the selector unless you're trying to fast forward the Havoc Epic Quest to unlock maybe Madeline, for example. But there is no other scenario where I ask you to, like, pick up him from this selector. You can slowly build him up or even use tickets on him since you unlock him for absolutely free. And we have Gambit. I feel like he's one of the higher tier good options, but the only reason why he isn't in the chef's kiss is because he is a seasonal crystal cost uniform. If he wasn't a seasonal, he would have definitely ended up in the chef's kiss tier for now. But yeah, he is gonna hold the top half of the good tier like Carnage. Following that, we have Ghost. Now, I was debating her value. She is either low mid or high bad, but since she does have some PvP value as a debuff character for the Thunderbolts character, I'm just gonna leave her towards the bottom half of the mid tier. Then we have Hyperon. He definitely needs a rework done as soon as possible, but yeah, as it stands, he's not that good enough for me to suggest you to pick him from this selector. And then I think another addition to the Epic Quest tier, we have Icarus. The Eternals aren't that good in the game, so yeah, proceed with caution. I wouldn't myself pick him from this selector, but again, if you really like the Eternals, you can go ahead with it. They don't necessarily offer you good value in any game mode, but they look cool, I guess. And yeah, following that, we have Ironheart. I'm gonna add her to the top half of mid tier. The main reason being she only qualifies for one Alliance Valor restriction as the best support. You could argue that she's like low good tier, but I'm just gonna leave her at the top half of the mid tier because like her use case is very minimal, like very marginal, but she is, regardless of that fact, decent support. But yeah, top half of the mid for her. And following her in the same tier, we have Juggernaut. Now, he isn't necessarily a good PvP character, the main reason being he does not have penetration in his kit. His survivability is not necessarily an issue, but his damage dealing capabilities are. So yeah, I'm gonna leave him in the mid tier along with Ironheart and Echo. Next, we have Kahori. In my opinion, a very good support for PvP. She deals more damage against like the debuff type characters, and yeah, overall she offers very good versatility to your PvP roster, which is the reason why I'm gonna put her in good tier, but she is gonna stay towards the bottom half of the good tier. You could also argue again mid tier with her, but for now she stays there. Then we have Hit Kaiju. I just don't think he's good enough, even though he did receive his Transcendent Potential upgrade very recently. He for sure ends up towards the bottom half of the bad tier, like one of the worst choices from the selector in this moment. Then we have Kid Omega, another addition to the troll picks. I mean, he is a very decent free-to-play option. The main reason why he is free-to-play is because he's not premium, nor is he a seasonal. That means picking him from the selector is absolute stupidity. Yeah, do not pick him from the selector. And then another addition to the bad tier, we have Katie Pryor. Now, her uniform is very unique. She looks like a pirate, but like she does not offer you any value in any game mode. So yeah, not justifiable picking her from the selector at all. Similarly, we have Killmonger. He is also not worth picking from the selector. Offers very little, very little value in legendary battle. Like, come on, bro, you can't be justifying characters for legendary battle now. Like, and then we have one of the higher tier troll picks in Luna Snow. I mean, you guys for sure know why I'm putting her here. You'll literally get her at tier 2 for absolutely free. Like every single account should have her at tier 2 for absolutely free. So yeah, definitely surefire pick for the troll tier. Then we have Mr. Sinister. Even though he does have immortality as his artifact passive, he just doesn't offer good enough value for me to move him up from the bad tier. He is gonna hold the top half of it, but it doesn't necessarily matter in the bad tier because like these characters are genuinely not worth investing in unless you are really passionate about these characters like storyline or lore, or like you are attached to them through comics or whatever. But apart from those reasons, definitely not worth investing in any of these characters that are in the bad tier. And of course the troll tier is what it is. And yeah, next up we have Magic, one of the higher tier options for the good tier, one of the higher value options for the good tier in my opinion. The main reason being she has a immortality artifact, and she's actually very decent in other world battle, alliance conquest, without having to rely on specific supports. The shots are going towards Carnage in this case. And then we have another addition to the good tier in my opinion, M'Baku. I feel like you could make a case for him to be like the chef's kiss tier pick, but I'm just gonna put him in the good tier. You can also scale his value even more with the artifact, but the fact that you get him for free at 1 star, you could literally use tickets on him to get him upgraded without having to waste such a premium selector on him. Then we have Nick Fury. I just could not justify myself to put him in the good tier or like anything lower than the chef's kiss. I mean, his leadership is insane, his support passive is also insane, and then on top of that, to add a cherry on the cake, he has a support artifact. His only downside to his overall kit is that his support buffs only apply to superhero characters, but still, it is absolutely insane. The second addition to the chef's kiss tier for now. Yeah, Morbius next, one of the worst premium picks in the game, definitely not worth investing in. And then we have Nightcrawler, one of those characters that you can pick up bios for free from like X-Gene selectors, and also craft from, also craft his bios. So yeah, again, he ends up in the troll tier. Then we have Nadia Van Dyne. She is also a very bad selection in my opinion. I think she has a little, very marginal support buff, but I just don't feel like she is worth investing in. Right after that, we have Namor. Now, he's a very cool character in my opinion, but his value is very little in the game. Yes, you can scale his, him up to like a tier 4, but still, like, he is pretty ass. I mean, like, generally speaking, unless you like him, you shouldn't really be investing in him, which is why I'm going to put him towards the lower half of the mid tier. Actually, you know what? Let's put him above the only tier 3able characters. I feel like it is a bit disrespectful to him. So yeah, he's going to end up towards the bottom half of the mid tier, above the, tier 3 gapped characters. Then we have Polaris. I feel like with her new uniform, she has added PvP value now, and on top of that, she qualifies for a few Alliance Valor restrictions, which is why I'm gonna put her right behind Magic in the second position for the good tier. You could probably put Gambit up there, but for now, since Gambit is a seasonal, I'm gonna leave Polaris ahead of him. Then we have Philavel. A very decent support in the game, but she is farmable as an ally shifter from one of the epic quests. She is still very good. Her uniform is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, she will end up towards the middle half of the epic quest tier. Unless you're very desperate and don't have any tickets, do not select her from the selector. But yeah, I would just generally suggest using tickets or slowly grinding towards completing the objectives that require all the characters from this tier to be upgraded to a certain level. And we have Kaiser in the female version. She is pretty bad, and yeah, I'm just not even going to explain too much there. And then we move on to Rogue, another addition to the troll tier, similar to Cyclops and Beast, can be farmed very easily. Then we have Sentinel. If he was a little better, I would have put him in the good tier, but for now he sits right in front of Juggernaut as one of those Alliance Conquest characters who holds very niche value. Don't take it wrong, he is still very good, but I just don't think he has gotten a boost that is good enough for him to push him up to the good tier. Then we have Red She-Hulk. She is a very usable PvP support with the damage reduction and the HP buff. which is why I'm going to rank her towards the mid tier, because there are several alternatives. You only use her in, like, again, very, very niche scenarios. And talking about PvP support, we have one of the better PvP supports from this selector. She came out a while ago, but like people started to find out that she is actually even better than she initially was expected to be, and now she is one of the better picks from this selector. If you pick up her uniform and pair her up with characters like Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Shang-Chi in certain scenarios, not just limited to those characters, but you know what I mean. So yeah, she is one of the better picks from this selector if you already have the other characters that are above her. Then we have Ghost Panther, without a shadow of a doubt, the best pick from this selector in my opinion. The main reason being Mephisto. Like, I don't even have to explain it any further. And then talking about Mephisto, we have Satana. Now, you would expect me to put her here, but no, she ends up in the troll tier. She's one of the best supports in the game right now. She does require her seasonal uniform for that to be the case. But even then, you can literally farm her for free from the Doctor Strange Epic Quest. I genuinely do not suggest wasting your tickets even on her. Just take it slow. It will take you like a few weeks to completely get her to 6 stars and then tier 2 and then so on. But yeah, definitely not worth picking from this selector. Then we have Spectrum. I mean, you can literally get her for free from the legendary battle and just manually upgrade her with tickets if you genuinely want to upgrade her. In any other case, do not even bother looking at her. She offers little to no value to your account or roster. Then we have Spider-Woman. I feel like she is one of those niche supports similar to Ghost. Her passives apply to like the Spidey Sense characters, so because of that marginal value that she is offering to you, you can make like certain teams in Alliance Conquest with the help of her. So I'm gonna rank her towards the absolute bottom half of the mid tier. Talking about Spider-Mans, we have Spider-Man 2099. In my opinion, one of the best looking uniforms in the game. Too bad it's absolutely trash. Like, offers little to no value and without a shadow of a doubt holds the bad tier. Similarly, we have the Spot, or whatever his name is, Spots or some shit. He is also pretty bad. Doesn't offer anything to you. Just brush past him. No need to look back and think twice if he catches your attention. Then we have Sunbird. I can probably consider him in the same category as Ghost and Spider-Woman and rank him at the absolute bottom of the mid tier, but I won't, because Warriors of the Sky are absolutely horrendous. So yeah, that is the only reason why he's gonna hold the top half of bad. He is a very good support for the characters that his passives apply to, but the fact that the characters his passives apply to are absolute horrid is the reason why he won't even stand a chance in the mid tier in my opinion. Then we have one of the most recent additions to the premium selector. We have Jeff. Now, you could 100% make a case for him as the #1 pick for this selector if you don't already have him, of course. He literally came out a few weeks ago and you should already have him, but if you started like after the event ended or couldn't necessarily pick him up, he's definitely like genuinely worth picking up. I mean, there's no other way you can necessarily unlock him at 1 stars. If you could, I would have just suggested just doing that and get him to 6 stars, because all his support passives are already usable at 6 stars. You don't even have to have him at tier 2. But yeah, with all that being said, he also has an artifact that provides you with additional HP and all attack. So overall, he is just absolutely insane. You can use him for both PvP, PvE, but since his typing isn't the best, you don't necessarily see him a lot in World Boss or even Alliance Battle. Yeah, with that being said, we go from the absolute epitome to absolutely dog shit and Jubilee, like literally no value in the game except for like, considering future value, given Minute Marble might give us another X-Men update. In that scenario, she is probably gonna offer you some value, but that stands, hell no. And yeah, another X-Men character, we have Storm. She for sure is a bait pick from this selector. Don't even look in her direction, man. If you have a tier 4 selector, pick her from there. she's gonna offer insane value to your account. But genuinely stay away from her from this selector. Then we have leader. I feel like his support passive is not that significant, which is why I'm just gonna leave him at the bottom half of the mid tier, because he does have alternatives and his support passive is like what, 25%. That's just isn't justifiable enough for me to rank him any higher. Then we have Pain. He is a decently strong Inhuman character. He did have value when there were no alternatives in the Inhuman stag for that 14-5 mission. A lot of people built him up and used him to help out clearing 14-5 with 3 Inhuman characters. But there is a few more tier 4 Inhuman characters that have come out since, so he literally offers 0 value to your account. And talking about 0 value, we have even more 0 value characters in Omega Red. I ended up getting him on my free-to-play, and he is dog shit. He is not worth investing in. He's like one of those characters who offers very little PvP value. Again, I wouldn't suggest picking him from this selector. And talking about PvP value, we have Slapstick. Interestingly enough, I recently found out that he has one of the most unique kits that allows him to revive, of course, and his artifact also has Giga Dodge. I think he's like one of the only characters to have double PvP passives, which are both like very good. So yeah, once he gets a rework, he might end up being really good, but for now he for sure holds the bad tier because his value is absolutely atrocious. And talking about value, we have Silver Samurai. He is one of the better overall supports for mutant characters. I even use him for a certain Alliance battle restrictions. You do have to keep in mind, he also came out very recently, and you could definitely use him at 6 stars. You don't need to bring him up to tier 2 because all his passives are already at 6 stars. So yeah, you gotta keep that in mind before you go ahead and invest in him. Only invest in him if you don't have, him unlocked already and you're lacking tier 2 tickets. In that scenario, he is worth investing in. And yeah, right after that, we have another niche pick in Sleeper. He offers debuff to symbiote type characters, which is pretty clutch, but I think most of the symbiote type characters have like debuff leadership or debuff already inbuilt in their kits. Regardless of that fact, he also provides you with additional buffs against certain typing characters. So yeah, overall Sleeper is a very good support, but since he is a niche support, I'm just gonna leave him towards the bottom half of the good tier. Then we have Sunspot, a bait pick in my opinion. You literally get him for free at tier 3 from the training mission. 100% would not pick him. Next up, we have Valkyrie. She is just absolutely insane in my opinion. Another addition to the Chef's Kiss tier. Like, she is so good. Offers very good value in both PvP and PvE because she has damage reduction, ignore dodge, and it gets even better as she has a support artifact. So yeah, overall she is definitely a good selection from here. I probably am going to pick her up on my free-to-play. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And then we have Sylvie. Now I'm gonna put her in the mid tier because she aids Loki. That is the only possible value she offers to your account. If you don't already have her unlocked from like Dimension Mission, for example, you can pick her up from here. But I wouldn't necessarily waste a tier 2 selection on her because you can use her at 1 star and still get the same value from her at tier 2. So yeah, she ends up at the absolute bottom of the mid tier just because of Loki. Then we have Victorious. In my opinion, another addition to the good tier. The main reason being, she is one of the best PvP supports in the game. However, she is a ally shifter, so she ends up in the Epic Quest tier. She, in my opinion, offers enough value to be ranked number 4 in this tier. On top of all of that, she also has a support artifact that provides with additional buffs to universal type characters. So yeah, overall she is just insane, and yeah, I would debate on picking her up to complete the Epic Quest and also get some added value from her in game modes like TBA. Then we have Wenwu. I probably would have put her in the bad tier but he does have a HP buff in his kit, which is why I'm gonna leave him right beside Red She-Hulk, because she also has HP buff in her kit as well, but her damage reduction is what is giving her the edge over Wenwu. But yeah, Wenwu is a mid-tier PvP support who very rarely finds use in certain restrictions in TBA. Then we have Weapon Hex. If she wasn't a paywall seasonal, she would have definitely been higher ranked, but since she is a paywall seasonal with very good PvP value, I'm just gonna rank her in the good tier, but towards the bottom half, again because she is a paywall character. Then we have the Hood. I mean, since he is one of the more recent additions as a premium character, he does offer better, or like, you know, he does hit harder than the other premium characters in this tier, but still, he's just not that good enough for me to, you know, ask you to pick him up or whatever. And then, yeah, right after that, we have Yelena. She is a very niche PvP, you know, character. Main reason being she barely finds any value in any game mode apart from Alliance Conquest. So yeah, she is gonna hold the higher half of the mid tier, but yeah, she isn't that good in PvP to say the least. Again, a bad selection from this selector, the main reason being offers little to no value to your roster. Then we have Warpath. I mean, he can have his own tier of absolute garbage, but yeah, he is another troll pick. You can pick up his bios from the selectors, craft him or whatever. Overall, he's just trash anyways. So yeah, definitely don't even look in his direction, bro. He's just a stinky poo-poo selection. Yeah. And then we have Kaiser. Now, this is another niche support for Annihilators. Now, his support buffs only apply to Silver Surfer realistically in PvP. You could also make a case for Gladiator, but like, are we being serious right now? We're providing debuff to Gladiator now in Alliance Conquest? Hell no. But yeah, he's still a decent support for Silver Surfer, which is why I'm gonna leave him in the mid tier. And yeah, we move on to the final 3 picks from this selector. The first of the 3 is X23. He holds decent PvP value. You would be surprised to find out that she is farmable. You can craft her bios, pick her from X-Gene selectors, and yeah, overall is not worth picking from this selector. Then we have US Agent. In my opinion, pretty bad. I mean, where the hell are you gonna use him? Nowhere. And then finally, we have Agent Venom. In my opinion, he is the final addition to the tier list and the final addition to the Chef's Kiss tier. Again, the main reason being he is one of the best niche supports in the game. Even though his buffs apply to what, like 5 or 6 characters, he is just absolutely insane. Once you have his artifact and his uniform, you can make your null go nuclear. You can also utilize him with Black Widow, Carnage, Spider-Man. Like, it's just absolutely insane how good he is. So yeah, that is the reason why he's gonna be the final selection in the Chef's Kiss. Due to his very niche value, he ends up towards the bottom half, but overall, he is just insane. Yeah, that brings us to the end of this tier list. I feel like I'm happy with my selections here, but yeah, if you guys do disagree with certain picks that I made, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to check those out. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. If you guys found this tier list helpful, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I stream almost every day, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, so yeah, feel free to come by and hang out with the boys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and peace.